Disrespect is one of those things that cuts deeper than most people admit. It's not always someone screaming in your face or throwing insults across the room. More often, it's subtle. It's the eye roll when you speak, the sarcastic tone meant to put you down, the little dismissals that say, "You don't matter as much as I do." And in that moment, every part of you wants to react, to prove them wrong, to clap back harder, to show you're not the one to play with. But here's the truth. When you respond to disrespect on their level, you're not defending your dignity, you're lowering it. You're handing them the satisfaction of seeing you break, and suddenly the power is no longer yours. Self-control in the face of disrespect is one of the hardest things you'll ever master, but it's also one of the most powerful. Because when you learn to respond without lowering yourself, you don't just protect your peace, you remind them exactly who they're dealing with. The reason disrespect cuts so deep is because it's an attack on your identity. When someone disrespects you, they're not just disagreeing with your words or actions, they're trying to shrink you. They want to poke at your pride, your ego, your sense of worth. And for most people, that's enough to make the blood boil. You feel it instantly in your body, the heat rising in your chest, the clench of your jaw, the urge to throw words back like daggers. That's because your nervous system is wired to protect your status. In ancient times, losing respect meant losing influence, safety, even survival. Today, the stakes are different, but the biology is the same. When someone disrespects you, your instincts scream, "Fight back!" But here's the trap. When you react on impulse, you're no longer in control. They are. They've pulled your strings and made you dance. And the more you defend, the more you prove their disrespect had power. That's why the first step to mastering disrespect isn't about what you do to them, it's about what you stop doing to yourself. It's about reclaiming control over your reactions, so their behavior no longer dictates your state of mind. Most people take disrespect personally, as if it's proof that they're not good enough. But here's the truth. Disrespect says far more about the person giving it than the one receiving it. People disrespect when they're insecure, when they're threatened, or when they want to test the boundaries of what they can get away with. It's rarely about you. It's about their need to feel powerful. Think about it. If someone is truly confident, truly at peace with themselves, do they need to belittle others? Of course not. Respectful people don't waste time trying to shrink others because they don't feel small themselves. But the weak, the fragile, the manipulative, they thrive on disrespect. They throw shade, they raise their voice, they try to embarrass you, all because it's the cheapest way to feel in control. And here's the key. If you fall into the trap of reacting with anger, shouting, or over-explaining, you give them exactly what they want. You confirm their belief that you've rattled them, that you've stolen your composure. That's why the most powerful response is often no reaction at all. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to let their insecurity dictate your state. The person who stays calm in the face of disrespect instantly shifts the balance of power.
When someone disrespects you, your nervous system's first instinct is to react. Your body wants to defend itself, your ego wants to strike back, and your pride wants to win the moment. But reacting too quickly is how people trap you. They know if they can push your buttons, they control the tempo. That's why the strongest move you can make is the pause. The pause is underrated. It's that split second where you decide not to mirror their disrespect, but to step outside of it. Instead of snapping back, you breathe. Instead of rushing to defend yourself, you watch. That pause does two things. It keeps your power in your hands, and it forces them to sit with their own behavior. Many people don't even realize how much disrespect they've been tolerating because they've trained themselves to react instantly, arguing, over-explaining, apologizing, or trying to win approval from someone who thrives on tearing them down. And this is where I want to say something important. If you've ever been caught in that loop, feeling like you always have to defend yourself, walking on eggshells, questioning your worth, it's not random. Toxic people use guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and disrespect as weapons to keep you off balance. That's exactly why I created my ebook, Surviving the Toxic Bond. It's not a pep talk. It's a survival manual for moments like this. I go deep into how toxic partners and manipulators twist your emotions, and more importantly, how to build the kind of calm detachment that makes you untouchable. If you're serious about breaking out of their control and protecting your peace, download it today. The link is waiting in the description and pinned comment. Now back to the pause. When you master it, you're no longer reacting, you're choosing. And in that choice, you remind both yourself and the other person that your self-control is untouchable. The moment you respond to disrespect with disrespect, you've already lost. Not because you're weak, but because you've allowed someone else to dictate your behavior. Dignity means you respond from your values, not their chaos. Think about it. When someone disrespects you, they want a reaction. They want to see you rattled, to confirm they've gotten under your skin. That reaction feeds them. It validates their power. But when you choose dignity, you take away the fuel. You show them that their words or actions don't define you. Your response does. Dignity isn't silence born from fear. It's silence born from strength. It's not about bottling up anger. It's about channeling it wisely. You don't need to raise your voice or prove your worth to someone who has already devalued it. The real flex is showing them you won't be pulled down to their level. Imagine standing in a storm without flinching. The storm is loud, destructive, chaotic, but you remain steady. That's dignity. And people feel it. They may not admit it, but deep down, they respect it, even if they never say so. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you learn to strike only when necessary and on your terms, not theirs. You protect your peace by refusing to engage in battles that are designed to strip you of it. Because in the end, dignity leaves an impression disrespect never can. Boundaries are how you teach people how to treat you. And the mistake most people make is thinking boundaries have to come with anger, shouting, or ultimatums. They don't. The strongest boundaries are calm, firm, and consistent. Think of a stone wall. It doesn't scream at the rain for falling. It simply stands and refuses to be moved. That's how you set boundaries with people who disrespect you. When someone crosses the line, you don't need to explain for hours why it hurts you. You don't need to beg them to change. You simply state the line, enforce it, and if they keep crossing it, you adjust their access to you. That's power. Because respect isn't begged for, it's required by the way you live and carry yourself. The truth is, disrespect thrives where boundaries are weak. If someone knows they can walk over you without consequence, they'll keep doing it. Not because they don't understand, but because they benefit. Your job isn't to convince them to value you, it's to show them that if they don't, they lose access to you. A calm, "I don't tolerate that," followed by action, speaks louder than 1,000 emotional outbursts. That's what boundaries really are. Not threats, but actions. Not words, but consistency. And when people realize you're serious without ever needing to shout, you shift the entire balance of power.
Sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect isn't a clever comeback or a lecture, or even drawing a boundary with words. It's silence. Silence unsettles people because it denies them what they're looking for, a reaction. Disrespect is often bait. They want to see you crack, lose your composure, and prove them right. But when you stay quiet, when you refuse to play their game, you expose their weakness instead of yours. Think about it. When someone disrespects you and you immediately snap back, you give them proof that they can control your emotions. They spoke and you danced. But when you remain calm, collected, and unbothered, it forces them to sit with their own words. Silence turns the mirror back on them. It makes them face the ugliness of their own behavior without giving them the distraction of your reaction to point at. Silence also creates mystery. People expect conflict to escalate, so when it doesn't, they're left uneasy. They wonder what you're thinking, what you'll do next, and why they couldn't get under your skin. That's real control, not saying everything you could say, but holding back and making them deal with the weight of their own actions. Remember this, silence is not weakness, it's restraint. It's the discipline to protect your energy instead of wasting it. And sometimes silence says what words never could. You're not worth my peace. Every time someone disrespects you, you're being given a choice. You can take it as an attack, or you can take it as a training. Most people crumble because they treat disrespect as a wound to the ego, but the Stoic understands it differently. It's an opportunity to sharpen discipline, to test composure, and to prove mastery over self. You don't control the insults, the tones, or the behavior of others. What you do control is how much of yourself you hand over to their words. Think of it like lifting weights. The more you resist, the stronger you become. Disrespect is resistance, emotional weight placed on your shoulders. If you collapse every time, you stay weak. But if you stand tall, breathe through it, and carry it with composure, you build strength that no one can take away. The goal isn't to become numb, but to become so steady that no cheap insult can shake your foundation. The paradox is this: when you use disrespect as fuel to master yourself, you remove the only weapon they had against you. Their words no longer cut because you've turned them into weights for your growth. Their attempts to drag you down end up pushing you higher. That's the ultimate revenge, not by getting even, but by becoming untouchable. So the next time someone disrespects you, ask yourself, am I going to collapse under this weight, or am I going to use it to build strength? That simple shift in mindset turns disrespect into one of your greatest teachers. The final truth about disrespect is this: it's not about them, it's about you. Disrespect only lowers you if you let it drag you into the mud. When someone throws dirt, you don't need to pick it up and throw it back. The higher ground is silence, composure, and dignity. That's what unsettles people most. Not your anger, but your refusal to be shaken. Anyone can lash out. Anyone can spit back words. That's easy, but it takes strength to remain calm when everything in you wants to react. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. Dignity means you know who you are, and you refuse to let anyone redefine that with their cheap insults or petty behavior. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you've already won, because the battle isn't out there, it's within. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself to someone beneath your standards, you rise above the game entirely. That's how you win without playing. So the next time disrespect comes your way, ask, how do I get even? Ask, how do I walk away with my dignity intact? Because that's the real victory, not stooping to their level, but forcing them to watch you stand tall while they sink. That's the power of self-respect. That's how you leave every situation stronger, cleaner, and untouchable. When someone disrespects you, the greatest victory isn't found in shouting louder or lowering yourself to their level. It's in standing tall, calm, and untouchable. Because real power doesn't prove itself in noise, it proves itself in silence, control, and presence. If this message resonated with you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're building a community of people who refuse to be broken by chaos. Drop a comment below about how you've handled disrespect in your own life, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're ready to go even deeper into breaking toxic cycles and mastering emotional control, don't forget to download my ebook, Surviving the Toxic Bond. The link is waiting in the description and pinned comment. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember this: your silence, when chosen with strength, will echo louder than their noise ever could.